If you're thinking about becoming a coach, you might be wondering what are the coaching skills that I absolutely need to master. And in today's video, inshallah, I'm going to walk you through the five powerful coaching skills that every beginner coach should learn. And I'm also going to share with you the book that has taught me everything I needed to know to be a transformational coach at the beginning of my journey. Alhamdulillah. If you're new here, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sumaya. I'm the founder of The Hill Tester, which is a six-figure coaching business. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And what I do is train Muslim women in becoming amazing and powerful, faith-aligned coaches. When I first started coaching, I thought that it was all about giving advice and motivating people. And that's what you might be thinking at the moment. But I quickly learned that real coaching is actually about something much deeper than that. And honestly, it's about something a lot more sacred as well. And the book that opened my eyes was The Heart of Laser Focused Coaching, which I have right here. This is what it looks like. This is the book that I highly, highly encourage my trainees to read from the beginning of their journey as well. And that's the book that I recommend you go and buy right now if you're serious about becoming a coach. But before you do so, today I want to walk you through the five skills that Marion Franklin, the author, mentions in the book. And I want to give you some insights on what those skills look like so that you can get started right now to actually learn how to coach and how to be good at it. And just before I tell you about those five skills, if you're ready to take some sort of action towards becoming a coach, you should start with the Thriving Coach Workbook. It's a digital journal that I've created just for you. It's going to help you clarify your why, uncover any limiting beliefs that you have about doing this, and map out the first three goals that you want to take action on as an aspiring coach. You just have to comment workbook and I will make sure to send you the link to download yours for free, inshallah. Okay, so let's get started with skill number one. And it's none other than active and deep listening, not just surface type of listening. The book, The Heart of Laser Focus Coaching, teaches that your most powerful tool as a coach is your ability to truly listen. Not to just what your client is saying, but also to the things that they're not necessarily saying. What emotions are under their words? What patterns keep on showing up as they're talking? What is their body language saying as well? What message is that transmitting to you? This kind of listening is something that takes practice, and it's one of the first things that we focus on in our coaching certification, the Thriving Coach, because being a coach is not like being a friend. You don't listen to people to reply. You listen to really and deeply understand what's going on in their head and help them increase their self-awareness or do whatever it takes to get closer to reaching their goals. And connected to that skill of deep listening is practicing silence when your client is talking. This is one of my favorite coaching tool, and it's also one of the hardest to practice because we've been conditioned to feel very awkward when the conversation goes silent as human beings, subhanAllah. But in coaching, it's powerful because it allows your client to go a lot more deeper into their thoughts and to answer their own questions, which is exactly why you're here in the first place. Now, moving on to skill number two, which is asking insightful questions. Not obvious questions, but insightful questions. Coaching is not about asking, what do you want to achieve this week? Okay, it's partly that, but it's not just that. It's about going deeper and asking questions like, what parts of you believe that reaching your goal is not possible? What is that part saying and where does that come from? It's about asking questions like, if you truly and deeply trusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what would you do differently in this situation? You know? And in the heart of laser focused coaching, the author teaches you how to ask quality questions. But the truth is, reading a book about this is not going to be enough. you need a place to practice this. And you also need exposure to demonstration of coaching so that you can learn from others. Until you trust your own voice and your own capacity to ask those questions. And I remember just a couple of weeks ago, one of our trainees had watched a demo of one of my coaching calls with my clients. And she told me, Sumaya, at this moment, you asked a really powerful question. How can we learn to do that? How do we get there? And I told her, it's not something that's a talent. It's practice, it's exposure, it's having a space where you can see coaching done properly as well, and then being able to practice that yourself in a safe and supportive way. Now, skill number 3 is all about learning how to get to the root, not just the story that your client is holding. One of the biggest mistakes that new coaches make is that they stay on the surface. The client talks about their job, about their family, about their struggles, and you stay there, you know? You don't go deeper. They might feel better at the end of the call because they've unpacked, but there's no real long-term change or no progress towards their goals. But this book, The Heart of Laser Focus Coaching, teaches you how to go deeper and to really ask about the beliefs that are behind your client's pattern. What belief is this pattern revealing? That's a good question as well. And how can we change that? This is where coaching becomes transformational. It's when you go deeper than just listening to the person's problem and helping them with the surface of those problems. It's about coaching the person, not their circumstances. And in our certification, we teach our trainees everything they need to know about limiting beliefs, especially because that constitutes a big chunk of what you do as a coach, helping your clients reframe their beliefs and let go of the limiting ones, because that's what leads to real, true, long-term transformation. And I'm actually hosting a workshop on this topic, which is going to be free, and it's in partnership with the Blue Lantern. It's going to be on Sunday, 1st of June. You'll find all the information in the description box below, inshallah, if you want to register. Don't miss it, because it's a workshop that I've been hosting for almost 5 years now, and it is known to be life-changing, alhamdulillah. Moving on to skill number 4 in order to become a powerful coach, it's none other than holding space without rushing to fix. As Muslim women, we care deeply, especially when we choose to become coaches. It shows that we have a lot of empathy. But sometimes that makes us want to rescue our clients by giving them advice or solving their problems. And the book reminds us that coaching is not about fixing, not at all. It's about holding space so that your client can rise into their own power and reconnect with their inner wisdom. Now, something that I found interesting is that whenever trainees start our certification and I teach them this, what I just told you, they're a bit confused because they really thought that coaching was about giving advice and pretty much serving the answers to your client's questions on a platter. That's actually more mentoring or being a teacher, but it's not coaching. As soon as you tell your clients what to do instead of helping them find out themselves, you're stepping out of coaching. Think about it this way. You know, the metaphor of the village man who was taught how to fish instead of being given fish. This is exactly what we're doing. We're teaching people how to find answers within them so that they don't depend on us anymore. And they can let go of us after a few months or even a few weeks of support. This is empowering. This is coaching. And finally, skill number 5 is very much related to skill number 4, and it's letting the client lead and trusting the process. And that can be a bit scary, you know. One of the questions that keeps on coming up in this current cohort of the Thriving Coach is, what do I do if I feel like the session is going everywhere and nowhere at the same time? Like, how do I take back the control? And you know, coaching is all about co-creating the results that your client want with them. So you have to be okay letting go of control at times. You're here as a leader, yes, in some form, But again, we come back to this idea that your client knows what's best for them. They are the expert on their own life. Your role is to guide them, to help them reflect, to hold them accountable. But again, it's not to tell them what to do. And in the sessions, it's the same thing. You must ask them what do they think is better for them. You ask them what do they want to prioritize. You don't decide for them. You don't take the control of their coaching journey in that way. You might be a good help in like making sure that we keep time and making sure that we do reach some sort of outcome and we do make some sort of progress within the sessions and in between, but you let them choose what they want to focus on. And that requires a lot of patience, a lot of humility, and also tawakkul, a lot of tawakkul. Because at times you're going to feel like you haven't helped the person because you're judging the quality of the session on standards that you've set for yourself. Maybe for you, a successful session is a session that has a certain amount of breakthroughs. But for the client, what success means to them is just showing up and having a space where they can unpack. So we have to let go of the ego when we're coaching and not make it about us and how we feel in the sessions, but make it all about the clients. Coaching is very much client-centered. And when you learn to coach this way with adab, with intention and with full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it becomes something incredibly fulfilling, alhamdulillah, for both you and the client. So these are 5 skills that I think every beginner coach should learn. There are many more out there, and we cover a lot more in our coaching certification, for example. But I wanted to start with this, and I really wanted to recommend this book for you. I listened to the audio version when I was stuck in Morocco and starting my journey as a coach. And I remember sitting in the kitchen in the hostel where I was volunteering and taking notes and being just mind blown because you can also start coaching yourself with this. One of our trainees actually did that at the beginning of the Thriving Coach. She coached herself following one of the framework in the book, and she had this amazing insight about her life. And it was beautiful to witness that as well. If you're ready to finally start your coaching journey, but you don't necessarily want to do a full-on certification, I've got great news. I'm launching a self-paced version of the Thriving Coach. It's going to be called the Thriving Coach Foundations. And in it, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to get started as a coach. But I'll be starting with a pilot version first so that I can test the concept. This version is only open to 10 sisters at half of the price, and there are only a couple of spots left. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you've wanted to join the Thriving Coach but you just couldn't for different reasons, then this might be it for you. So make sure that you check out the information about the Thriving Coach Foundation, the pilot version, and that you join us and book your spot before it's too late. We'll be starting very soon, inshallah. That's it for today. I hope that today's session was beneficial for you, and I will see you in the next video, inshallah. Ma salama, beautiful.